Look, Nash, I've got under 15s on my shirt. I think that was the team India came up against, Australia's under 15s. Uh, I can't say I'm too surprised. I said yesterday to be behind innings, but maybe not before tea.
Um,
Congrats.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. That was quick. I was out playing cricket, enjoying my Saturday. And I came home. When I left for the day, when I left the cricket field, it was about in Australia were just starting their innings, which was like I think 5 o'clock Australia time, 5:30.
Feels like
And then
five minutes ago.
yeah, and it's 8 o'clock now, eight p.m. and then it's already done. Yeah, what was that? No one knows. No one seems to know the answer.
Clueless, right? It's like they played like minnows. They really did. It was like a deer's caught in the headlights. Great spin from India, of course, but mate, it's just
That
real
was my
so much
point. Like,
tentativeness, no
yeah, and
commitment into anything really.
exactly, and that was what I was saying on WhatsApp to you during the innings is there's not it wasn't like there was raging turn or there was square, it was turning square, it was just poor
I've
shots.
seen pictures in India. I've seen pictures in the subcontinent that have spun way more than that. You
Exactly.
know what I mean?
And it wasn't
Yeah,
bouncing
yeah.
high, it wasn't staying low. The odd ball here and there, yes, but that happens anyway. But the way the
It was
Aussies,
total, complete panic.
exactly,
You know
they
what I
just
mean?
did not
They were
apply
just look
themselves at
clueless.
all.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and that's disappointing for a team that's spoken about wanting to do well in India. I think from the first day, the alarm bells were ringing for me because the whole body language and commitment to the cause on the first day, especially the evening session with the ball, that was the real worry, and it's just crept into the rest of the Test match. We're only Todd Murphy is the only player in that team who can hold his head high because um, I think Steve Smith there at the end there as well, given the strike to the tailenders with 4 or 5 balls left in the over, just goes to show that he wanted to get out of there as well
yep,
and get on to the next test.
yep.
But mate, there's a lot of soul searching to do for this team after that. That was
And there
not good
was
enough.
and the shots that they played, like Usman Khawaja, he could have easily let that ball
That was
go and
bad because he let Ashwin outsmart him there
yeah,
very easily. So earlier in the over, Ashwin gave him a tossed up half volley that he smashed through the covers for 4. Ashwin's too smart. He bowls a very similar fly to delivery, but the length is brought back a touch.
yeah.
Usman thinks, here we go, Christmas again. I'm going to hit it for 4, but nah, it's uh, it's
And
it
and
spun out of the rough, and it's a poor shot.
and that's the skill. That's the skill level of these
Yeah,
bowlers, Jadeja, Ashwin, Axar. That's the skill level. It's not about only preparing square pitches. It's about how you bowl on them, what length to
correct.
bowl, what line to bowl. That's what matters, and
They're
that's what
always asking you questions.
exactly that's what drawing the false shot from the batters. And Alex Carey again going out to the reverse sweep. He
No, this
yes
is something I wanted to talk about as well.
and
So
yeah, I'll ask you a question. I'll
yeah,
just say this, that he's an attacking player. He will play his shots, and that's probably the message from the management as well. But he should learn when to play those shots. It's similar to Adam Gilchrist. Adam Gilchrist perfectly knew when to take a step back and when to play the hard shots and aggressive shots. What are your thoughts on Carey?
it's all right to be a good sweeper, but you can't play it every single ball. You know what I mean? You can't play it every ball because the spinners there are too skilled, and Rohit and the leaders in India's team are too smart. They're going to set the field in the right spot. Now, I was saying this a couple of days ago. When you're very strong on the sweep, immediately Rohit is going to put some fielders behind square on both sides of the wicket to cover the shot. So immediately what that means is you're going to have spaces in front of the wicket. Knock it into the gaps.
Yep.
Mix it up. Play straight when you need to. If the ball's pitched outside off stump, okay, you can play the reverse. Or if the ball's a little bit straighter, go for the sweep. That's where shot selection is crucial. That's where India completely dominated Australia when they batted as well. It was India's shot selection, even
Yep.
from number 9, Akshar Patel,
Yep.
and Ravi Jadeja there as well, and Rohit, of course. But selection, don't just sweep everything. Have a
Yep.
plan. They're going to have fielders behind square. You've got gaps in front of the wicket to try take advantage of. You know what I mean? So
Yep. And let me
that
let
sort of
me ask you
stuff.
this. Let me ask you this. And I'm not saying this to be funny or as a banter or anything like that, but
Go
and
for it, mate. Absolutely,
it
you've
may
got every right.
but I'm not that kind of person, but it may hurt as an Australian fan as well. But as someone who has been there as an Indian fan, is it is this Australian Test team at a point where they are flat track bullies, especially when you see them performing, or just home bullies? Because let's take for example, I say this with the thought that I know they have performed in Pakistan and Sri Lanka, but let's think about the summer. They have bashed some basically poor teams. On
Can we play South Africa again? It'd be nice. Can we play the Proteas again?
but you think about West Indies, you think about South Africa. South Africa did have a good team, but an inexperienced team for the conditions. Then you
Mm.
go back to Pakistan where they were playing on absolute flat pitches. It was nothing there for spinners, for fast bowlers, anyone.
Flat pitches, and with all due respect to Norman Ali and Sajid Khan, they're not Ashwin and Jadeja as
Exactly.
well.
And then you go to Sri Lanka where they managed not to lose as well, but that's again a lesser
The
team than
warning, the
India in
warning
terms of
signs,
skill.
the warning signs were in that second test in Sri Lanka. They belted us there,
Yeah.
and now we've been embarrassed in our last two tests in Asia. So there's a lot of soul searching to do.
Yeah. And where do you think the Australian team goes from here in the second
There's
test?
going to be
Because
some changes. There's going to be some changes. Fingers crossed. Cameron
what are
Green is
your
fit.
what are your changes? What are your changes?
I would have had Warner out, and I don't know, either Renshaw or Hanscom open. I don't know. Look, whether they'll score more than him, that's
So you think Renshaw
a
stays?
question. But I think
You think Renshaw stays?
he looks clueless in the middle. If you're not gonna pick him as opener, don't pick him in the team. But if I was gonna pick him, I'd pick him as opener. But you're gonna try Warner again? I guess maybe you don't have a better option than him in the squad. So if
Yeah.
they go with Warner, so be it. But you need Cameron Green in there. Travis Head's got to come back. Um,
So where do you fit Cam Green and
and
Ashton
I think
Agar? I think they were
Renshaw.
one bowler too short.
Yeah. So that's why Green's got to come in. Okay, so say you keep Warner, Renshaw goes out for Green.
But that yeah, yep, I'm with you so far.
And I think Hanscom played all right in the first innings, but you got to get Travis Head back.
Yep.
Travis Head's going to come back.
Do you know what I might do if that's the case? Because I might drop Scott Boland. And
Yeah, I can get to that as well.
yeah,
Boland out, even though he bowled quite well.
yeah, he
But
did.
you need a left arm spinner.
Yep,
I think.
absolutely. And Ashton Agar can bat as well, so they'll bat a bit deeper than they did
Correct.
this
That was
test
my
match.
point at the start of the series as well. That's why I would have picked Ashton Agar. If people disagree with me, fine. That's okay. But you need a left arm spinner.
Yeah, you need some variety. Either it's Ashton Agar or mid sweeps, and someone has to come in and provide that variety in the bowling attack. You can't go with, again, you can't say Travis Head bowls, but again, it's off spinners. India doesn't have.
Correct.
India has two left-handers, and those two left-handers already scored more than Australian left-handers combined. So
now, what I will say about that is that Travis Head at times spun the ball more than Lyon did, even in the Aussie season. Now, this is a concern for me that Nathan Lyon showed very little impact in this test match on a pitch where other spinners had a field day.
Yep.
That's a big concern as well.
Do you think
I'm not saying he should be dropped, but something's not quite right there.
Do you think it's, Todd Murphy's there? You know what I'm going to ask. Do you think it's almost to that point where Australia look at other options?
It's going to be close to that, but not yet. Lyon's experience and his ability to bounce back and all that. But yeah, I'm wondering. To me, he didn't threaten enough. He didn't get the ball to
even Moeen Ali threatened when he came to India.
Lyon, I was disappointed with Gaz. Sorry, Gaz. Yeah, I can't even get my words out. He didn't spin the ball much. didn't get the ball to bite. And when Ashwin came on and Jadeja, it's just like they're bowling on a different pitch. It's if all the Indians in the comment section of Fox Cricket saying this is a different pitch.
The curators changed it. Don't you know that? Come on.
I want to go through a couple of the comments on Fox Cricket posts today. Some of them are gold.
So funny. But yeah, I'll
anyway.
say...
So we were going Boland out, Agar somehow. Yes,
and I think Renshaw has to
I'm not going to say
out.
Travis Head. All this talk about Travis Head, he wouldn't have. Yeah, Renshaw looked clueless playing with that front pad in front. Like he was playing with the front pad instead of the bat.
Yeah, exactly. And it's no point. It's
if you're not going to open with Renshaw, you're not going to open with him. Just drop him.
Getting a bowler who mimics Ashwin is good, but playing the actual Ashwin is probably 100 times different. And people compare this to India's triumph in the last Border Gavaskar Trophy in Australia when they got bowled out for 36. But you have to remember, even when they got bowled out for 36, India dominated probably 80% of that test. First innings, second innings,
India were in a good position that game. Competitive. This was not competitive. This game.
Exactly. India got the first innings lead as well in that test. So it was just that freak 45 minutes of play that made India lose that test.
One of those days where India edged absolutely everything.
Yeah.
And Australia just had an amazing time.
Absolutely.
If Australia bounced back and win like India did, then that would be the biggest shock.
It will be. But what I'll say though is Australia need to really focus on themselves.
Spot on.
The story from Fox Sports about the doctored pitch did more damage to the Australian camp themselves than it did to anyone else, than it did to the Indian image or
a lot of that in their heads, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly, because we can also say that it's the players, they're elite players, they don't think about the outside noise, and that's fair to say, but to some extent it does influence how they prepare, how the team management thinks, how the selectors, the coaches think. It does influence to a large extent, and that's what they don't need to do. That they just need to focus on themselves, just prepare as they would prepare for any test match, and then let their skill and the ability to just play natural, normal, regular cricket do the talking.
The amount of whinging I saw from media, it's not the Australian way. The Australian way is always think about how can we win, and take an accountability for our performance. So the question you've got to ask after this test is was the team outplayed? Absolutely. Why? Start focusing on ourselves and try to be better. You know what I mean?
I'll say
conditions are going to be challenging, etc. The bowlers are going to be outstanding. How are you going to tackle them?
Yeah, and talking as an Indian fan, again, whatever I say, it's going to be less for this Indian performance because we got the first innings. We lost the toss. Australia had a big chance, but again, Jadeja bowled well. And the second innings, there was kind of a mini collapse, but India at least did not sort of, let the game slip away from them. I think India were like 240 for 7, and then the last 3 wickets scored 160 on supposedly a doctored pitch. So
did the Indian spinners score more than the whole Australian team in the test?
Yep, I think so. Yeah, because the two left-handers scored 150 themselves, and the Australian second innings scored 88, got all out for 88. So
we got 90. Give us those
90,
2 runs now.
90. And then combined, I think first innings score of all 91, the left-handers,
91 actually.
All the left-handers in the Australian camp was 38 in the first innings, and then these two, Axar and Jadeja, themselves scored 150. And that's what I'm talking about. You just have to play to the merit of the ball. Even Smith has played really well. Smith and Marnus both in the Marnus in the first innings, Smith in both the innings, and Smith does perform in India. He has done that on the last tour as well, and certainly I have that confidence that he'll do it again. But it's the other people around him that need to sort of feed off that energy and sort of put their heads down and just really focus on what Smith is doing and just try and imitate that. Again, different skill levels, different
Back yourself and give it your
ability.
best shot. I think that's what's got to
Absolutely.
be.
And just purely before we finish talking about India, absolutely clinical performance.
Amazing.
I did not have any doubts about how this test match was going to go. I don't have any doubts about how the rest of the 3 test matches are going to go. Maybe we'll see an Aussie comeback. Maybe, hopefully we don't. But whatever happens, it's going to be really fun, exciting, because I think Fox Sports might come up with something new in the next sort of a week or so. How do we get
Fox Sports is your biggest Fox Sports is your biggest opponent,
Oh,
rather than
definitely,
Australia.
definitely.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I 100% agree with you. The credit India. This is they showed why they don't lose at home. What they've lost 2 out of the last 50 tests at home or something like that. They really lose, and they showed why. The depth in the batting, the quality of the spinners. They make it as if they're bowling on a different pitch.
And
That's
this is
great great pitch doctoring, isn't it?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And if Gabba was Australia's fortress, probably India's fortress is India.
every ground,
Probably
every ground.
north, south, east, west, anywhere you go. And that's what's going to
Yes.
trouble Australia in the last 3 tests. Which, speaking of which, the 3rd test might be moved from Dharamshala to probably Mohali, due
That
to
was probably going to be a pace wicket like Dharamshala,
oh
wasn't it? Something
yeah,
that suits the seamers a
yeah.
bit more.
But again, not
Anyway,
that it matters.
yeah,
Um,
you're probably right there. Just to end off, I just wanted to go through a couple of the comments from
yeah, sure.
from fans of Fox Cricket. When Scott Boland dropped that catch off Shami in the morning, and I
Oh,
knew exactly how
oh,
the day was going to go after that. Um, Wolf Crick tweet replies to Fox Cricket. He goes, Shami applied some substance on his bat, due to which Boland failed to take the catch.
oh,
Conspiracy alert.
oh, oh my God.
What else? There was something else. I think BCCI Dr. Gravity.
Yep, yep, yep. Funny
Brilliant.
thing,
Anyway, you got to have a laugh.
I just realized Shami scored more than any Australian batter in the 2nd innings.
Okay, let's end it there. Thanks, Nash. Thanks to the listeners and the viewers. And I said it the first day that we don't have to do many dailies. That's the one positive. So we'll end it there. Thanks, Nash. Congratulations to yourself.
Thank you.
Congratulations to all the India fans. I hope Australia competitive in the next game, but I wouldn't put my money on it. But we hope for the best, and we hope for a good test match.
We'll be back for the regular podcast episode on Wednesday, and then we'll be again doing the cricket dailies when the next test starts on Friday, Saturday, and hopefully the last day on Sunday, which would be the day 3. And then we'll keep doing this, and stay tuned and let us know in the comments what you think. Subscribe, like, and share, and listen to the audio podcast on Spotify and Apple as well, and do follow us on Twitter and Instagram as well. Thank you, Shabel. Hopefully I'll see you on Wednesday for the regular podcast, and then I'll see you, all the listeners and everyone else, on Wednesday as well. Thank you so much.